Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into Turning Point USA. You've probably seen them in the news or on a college campus. They've got a massive budget, a real knack for stirring up controversy, and they are absolutely reshaping the conservative youth movement in America. We're going to break down exactly how.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at what TPUSA even is. Then, we'll get into where it came from and who's paying the bills. After that, we'll unpack their strategy on campus, dig into all the controversies, and finally, see how they're growing way beyond their original mission.
All right, first things first. What exactly is Turning Point USA?
Well, on paper, it's a nonprofit that's all about bringing conservative politics to students. High schoolers, colleges, the whole deal. Their stated mission is to find and organize young people around ideas like free markets and a smaller government. Think of it as a pipeline for the next generation of conservatives.
But, and this is a huge but, we are not just talking about some small student club here. To really get a sense of their scale, you have to look at the numbers. Get this, $85 million in revenue in just 2023 with almost 500 employees. This thing operates like a major political machine.
So how did a student group turn into a political powerhouse? Let's rewind a bit and look at the origin story.
It all kicked off back in 2012, started by an 18-year-old Charlie Kirk. As he became a bigger and bigger media figure, the organization just exploded in size. But its history has also been hit by some real tragedy: the death of co-founder Bill Montgomery in 2020, and then the shocking assassination of Kirk himself, which has put his widow, Erica, in charge as the new CEO. A huge turning point, for sure.
And check this out. This chart really tells the story of that meteoric rise. We're talking about a jump from just $78,000 in their first year to over $85 million about a decade later. I mean, that kind of growth is just staggering. And it doesn't happen by accident.
So where did all that cash come from? Well, a lot of it is from a network of very prominent, very wealthy Republican donors. But the source material also points out that a good chunk of it comes through what's known as dark money vehicles, like the Donors Trust, which allows people to donate huge sums without ever revealing who they are.
Okay, so they've got all this money. What are they actually doing with it? What does the Turning Point playbook look like on campus?
A huge part of their strategy is just pure spectacle. We're talking about massive national conferences like AmericaFest. Seriously, these things feel more like a music festival than a political rally. They bring in thousands of students, you've got all the big-name conservative stars on stage. It's all about using entertainment to energize their base. All right, now for another key tactic. And this one is, well, it's pretty controversial. They create these public watch lists. They have one for professors and another for school board members, where they publish the names and photos of people they claim are pushing, quote, dangerous agendas. And they're not shy about their goal here. In his own words, the founder, Charlie Kirk, said the professor watch list was made to, quote, expose professors who they believe are pushing leftist propaganda. It is a direct challenge to what they see as bias in the classroom. But it's not all just these big public campaigns. They're also playing a much more direct political game on campus. The source material describes how they back conservative candidates in student government elections. The goal? To get control of student funds and shift the culture from the inside. Now, as you can probably guess, this kind of aggressive activism has stirred up a ton of controversy and criticism, and not just from one side either.
Yeah, we're talking about some pretty serious allegations here. Watchdog groups and media outlets have pointed to everything from claims of racial bias inside the organization to possible campaign finance violations. There have also been accusations of links to extremist figures. But it is worth noting, some media outlets, like The View, have had to publicly apologize for making false claims about the group.
And what's really fascinating is that some of the sharpest criticism has actually come from other conservatives. There was this leaked memo from a rival group, the Young America's Foundation, that accused TPUSA of using, quote, humiliating stunts and even inflating its membership numbers. It really pulls back the curtain on this turf war for the future of the conservative youth movement.
And it's not just outside criticism. They've had their share of internal drama make headlines too. High-profile staff have had to resign after making some really inflammatory public comments that caused a huge backlash. Okay, let's get to the final piece of the puzzle here, which is how this organization has grown way, way beyond just being a campus group. It's now a multifaceted political brand.
And this right here is absolutely key to understanding their ambition.
They've built out what you could call a turning point universe. They've got Turning Point Action, which is their hardcore political and campaign arm. They've got TPUSA Faith to get pastors and churches involved. They're even creating K-12 curriculum with Turning Point Academy. It's a strategy to build influence at pretty much every level of society.
So all of this, the money, the controversy, the massive reach, it all boils down to one big question. Now that Turning Point is in a new era under new leadership, is this confrontational, media-savvy, in-your-face model the actual future of the conservative movement? The answer to that is probably going to shape American politics for a long